Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen up in Woodlands. Today we're going to make a pot roast, Portuguese style pot roast. And so I'm going to start with the marinade, which we call vinho dois. And basically it's just a Portuguese marinade that you can use for pork, you can use for roast, you can use for any number of different things. Starting with an onion, and I realize a lot of people don't know how to cut up an onion. So you take your knife and a nice cutting board. One trick with the cutting board is on the counter, you don't want the cutting board to slip on you because you can slice your finger. So if you take a wet paper towel, put it under your cutting board, it's not going to move. It's going to stay nice and tight. With the knife, you always want to hold the knife a nice grasp, but you always want to get your fingers on the actual knife itself, so that way it doesn't slip on you. The onion, basically, you just slice it right down the middle. So you have the root end and the other end. And then all you do is slice, keep the root end together, slice a little bit off of this end, and then just peel back the skin all the way back. And then you take the onion, you put it down on the board, anchor it with your fingers, but not like this, to curl the fingers underneath. Then you take your knife, and you're going to make some nice even slices, almost all the way to the end. Depending on the size dice you want, you can do 3 or 4 or whatever. And then you take it and you just slice this way. Not all the way at the end, you keep that root together. Turn it this way, hold it by the root end, slice it down, and there you have a nice easy dice. And you can make these as big or as small as you want, depending on the recipe you're using. So I'm going to finish this onion. So again, just cut off the end, peel back the peel. Slice it down this way, 2, 3, and then almost to the root. And cut it crosswise. And there's your dice. You can take the onion, and then I use a nice roasting pan, and just throw the chopped onion you just made, into your pan. Next, I'm going to start with some garlic. For this, I usually use about 4 cloves. So just break it apart. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put that for later. Easy way to peel garlic is you put the garlic clove on your board. You take your knife, put it down like so, smash. And then what happens is the peel comes right off. Put down, smash. And the peel comes right off. Obviously, if you want some really easy, nice slices, you don't want to smash too hard because you're going to just crush the whole thing. So 4 cloves. That's 3. This is 4. Clean off my board here. I'm a big stickler when I do any type of cooking in my kitchen. I always taught my kids this. My saying is, a good cook is a clean cook. So I always clean up as I'm going, because I can't stand a messy kitchen. And I wash things as I go also. So back to the garlic cloves here. Basically what I'm going to do is just slice them. Just like so. And then these go right into the roasting pan also. And then next, into the roasting pan, I use a A lot of times I'll use San Marzano crushed tomatoes and I'll just crush them by hand. This is just a tomato sauce. So use 2 cans of that. And let me get it in. And that goes in. It's 2 big cans. And then 4 cups of water. And then I do a cup of red wine. This is a nice Portuguese wine, Reserve 2019 from Portugal. So a cup of red wine. The rest of it you can drink. And then spices. So this is what we call açafrão. It's basically safflower. So a teaspoon of this. And just sprinkle it in. This is Temperos Português. It's a Portuguese allspice. And you can usually find these in the supermarket. If you can't, like I said, you can use safflower, and regular allspice works too. Sprinkle this in. Salt and pepper. So I usually use 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt and a teaspoon of black pepper. And then just mix this around, and that's your marinade. So I'm gonna put this aside for now. Next thing we do is your piece of meat. So this is basically a chuck roast that I got at the market. It already comes prepared, so you don't have to worry about it. It's tied so it doesn't fall apart. And this just goes right into your pan, right in the center. And then these are just some carrots that I peeled earlier. And I like to slice these, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And I usually slice them on the diagonal a little bit. I don't know, just a little bit nicer presentation. You don't have to be exact on this by any means. And bring this back over here. And these go right around your roast. Push this over here in another room. Next, we have potatoes that I peeled earlier. So these I cut in large chunks. So potato like this, I'll cut in maybe 3 slices, and then just big chunks. And I usually use about 5 to 6 carrots, maybe 3 or 4 potatoes, depending on the size of the potatoes. And depending on how many people I'm feeding, obviously. And just put these up. And again, you don't have to be exact on this. This is just large chunks of potato. Just like so. And this goes right into your pan. Again, just around the roast. I'll show you a picture of this when I'm all done. And then the last thing that I put in here, which also makes it very Portuguese, is chorizo. And chorizo is basically, some people call it chorizo, it's chorizo. I like the spicy one, so this is the hot and spicy. I usually take the whole chorizo, cut in 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the pan we go. And that is your pork roast. Let me show you. So this then gets covered and it goes into a 275 oven on roast. And I usually roast it between 3 and 4 hours till it's nice and tender and the house smells really, really good.